my little video intro got stuck. So guess who's here? Ben Keely Frock.
Hello.
Yay, welcome to Ben. And hi to Ben's mom too.
Hi, Mom.
That. We love it when our parents watch. So Ben Keely Frock, formerly known to you, you may know him as Ben Frock, but just stick the Keely in the middle because
Yeah, I'm sure my mom will love that.
she will love that,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so I'm going to do a quick interview with Ben because we want to get right to the music. Ben, I first met as a trumpeter, and I don't actually remember when we first met, but it must have been through the Mobtown Moon project.
It was actually when we did the Radiohead performance was the first time I met you.
Where was that?
The Kid A.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
Kid A reunion.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
So we did a Kid A 10-year
Anniversary
show. That's right. That was such a fun show at the
really
Wind
fun.
Up Space. Okay, so Radiohead. So I had heard this word before, but I didn't realize what it means. The word embouchure.
Embouchure, yeah.
Embouchure.
Embouchure, yeah.
Embouchure. Okay.
Mhm.
So I looked up the definition, and it's a beautiful, sensual word because the actual definition of the word embouchure. Embouchure, am I saying it correctly?
I mean, embouchure.
Embouchure.
It's more of a ch.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So you would know that. The definition is mouth of a river, mouthpiece of a brass or wind instrument,
Uh-huh.
but specifically for you, the position of lips, tongue, and teeth in playing wind instruments, right?
Uh-huh.
I just thought that was a very sexy word.
I didn't know the first definition. That's really cool.
The first definition is the mouth of a river, so
Yeah.
I like that.
That's really
So what Ben does is he's not only an incredible composer and trumpeter and performer on multiple instruments, he also teaches kids how to use their lips, tongue, and
Mhm.
teeth properly
That's true,
with
yeah.
wind instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking
It's kind
for
of a passion of mine, embouchure, yeah.
Yeah, why is it a passion of yours?
Because brass instruments are just really hard, and I spent so long trying to enjoy playing trumpet, and it was just so much of a struggle until I finally took the time to learn the mechanics. I studied with a trombonist named Doug Elliott, and he's a mouthpiece maker, and we got together for years. A couple times a year we would get together and talk about embouchure, and it was like studying with this professor of embouchure, and so when I run into like younger kids, especially high school kids that are struggling, I really like to be able to show them like it actually doesn't have to be this hard.
Yeah.
So it's really enjoyable for me because playing trumpet in high school was really I was really into it, but it was really hard, and I like to be able to show people a couple tricks that make it a lot
A little
easier.
bit easier, yeah. It does look like it's one of those instruments I just feel like like the guitar or any other instrument that you have to build up calluses for, that if you don't play for a while,
very physically demanding.
it's going to be painful
Yeah,
when you come back to it.
Absolutely.
So once you commit to a wind instrument, you have to avoid pain, you probably have to develop that callus.
It's something I've been experiencing recently because of all the other projects I've taken on. I haven't been playing as much trumpet. And luckily the embouchure thing is together, so it doesn't hurt as much as it used to.
Good, so you can get it back into shape quickly.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
So I was reading on your website in Ben's bio, he mentions that he was influenced by a composer named Olivier Messiaen.
Oh, Olivier Messiaen, yeah.
And so I did some research and listened to a couple of his pieces, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of this composer. He's considered one of the most famous composers of the 20th century, which made me feel very deficient in my classical knowledge. It's a French composer named Olivier Messiaen, and his focus in sort of, I guess the musical term would be modes of limited transportation.
Basically, it's what we usually call symmetry in music. There's scales that seemingly have no beginning and no end. They just repeat.
Yeah.
Over and over. A friend, teacher, and fellow musician, Tim Murphy, turned me on to Olivier Messiaen, and it's been a pretty big influence on my playing and my writing, trying to find ways to superimpose symmetry on music, which is not symmetrical at all.
No, yeah.
And especially with the stuff I've written for Love Unit, there's entire sections of the music where if you played them backwards, they would sound exactly the same. But to try and do that in a way that still sounds cool, it's enjoyable to listen to. It's been a challenge for me.
That when I was listening to his work over the weekend, I was thinking about how it definitely feels very post-industrial revolution to me. Like it seemed to me as a historian a direct musical response to the technological and information age of the 20th century. like this is a composer who is responding deeply to that.
Yeah.
And also it said that he was influenced by the Catholic faith and bird song.
Yep.
And I thought that was really interesting.
He considered himself more an ornithologist
Yeah.
than a composer. That was his like primary thing.
Was that he was a birdman who just happened to write amazing
so there's all these
compositions.
there's all this like really technical stuff in his songs, and then also there's bird songs.
Yeah.
He transcribed every bird song of the native French bird species.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, so you'll hear some of Olivier Messiaen's influence in Ben's
Maybe.
music today, I hope. So in addition to heading his own band, the Love Unit, which you're going to see a short clip of a documentary in a few minutes, he's also played with the Almighty Senators, Todd Marcus, who was part of the Mob Moon Project, and the Out of Your Head Collective, which performs every Tuesday night at the Wind Up Space in Baltimore.
Every other now. It's
Every other Tuesday.
Odd Tuesdays now.
Odd Tuesdays. That suits it.
Yeah.
It's the Out of Your Head
Yeah.
Collective. It's an improvisational experimental jazz group.
Exactly. Yeah.
With
So
like
the
30
idea is,
members,
the
right?
idea is that there's a big collective of musicians, and then they put musicians together in a combination that have never played together in that combination. So you might know most or all of the guys on stage, or you might not know any of them. And we don't talk about anything. We just shake hands, say hello, and then play music. It's really
like
beautiful.
a musical date. Okay, so I feel like Ben's music can be described as funk, jazz, classical, melodic, orchestral, spaceadelic. You've also been influenced by George Clinton a little bit.
Yeah.
How would you describe what you do?
You just did a much better job than I would have. There's so many different places I'm coming from, but I was exposed to George Clinton's music when I was 17. I actually played with his band a bunch of times for a few years whenever he would come to town. A good friend of mine, Benny Cowan, is his trumpet player. So
Cool.
I met him, and there was a scholarship worked out, and it was really a blast playing with him. And now I've finally come to a point in the past few years where I'm really bringing that influence into some of my music, in Love Unit especially.
Cool.
To me that's like a combination of like some of the really cerebral classical influences and the funk at the same time, and the disco, and the big deal for me was that I put some vocals into it, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
Yeah.
Sort of the high pitched disco vocals, sort of Curtis Mayfield style thing.
But that's the fun thing I think about becoming friends with you and learning about your music. That's one of the reasons why I do these shows, is that I want to dig really deeply into people's music and understand a little bit more about them, have it influence me as well. But I'm not going to talk about Love Unit because we're about to watch a short clip of a documentary, and that will tell you about Ben's band, Love Unit. So, one of my favorite tracks off the... Let me start over. On Ben's Bandcamp page, you can download 5 songs off a live performance that they did in May of 2012. And one of my favorite tracks is So High, and we'll listen to it at the very end. Because you guys aren't going to play that one today, right?
No,
Okay.
we're not doing any Love Unit material
Okay.
today.
I just like that song because it was moody but upbeat, which I feel like describes myself a lot.
Okay,
Very moody,
yeah,
but also
That's,
upbeat.
yeah.
Yes, so
I
like
can relate to that, I guess.
so like a depressing but upbeat conversation, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my guest today is Ben Keely Frock. He's here with Derek Michaels and Eric Von Marco, right? And they are going to be playing in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, please enjoy this short video documentary trailer about Ben's band, Love Unit, and then we'll be right back with music.
I'm Ben Frock. I write all the music for Love Unit. I'm a trumpet player, guitar player, vocalist, arranger, composer.
All right, beginning, loud as fuck.
I started just kind of as an excuse to write music. And I was just trying to cram all these compositional ideas into a band with as many of my friends as possible. And have music that was kind of like a hodgepodge of funk, disco, R&B to jazz.
We had this very grandiose vision of this band playing music that everybody would want to dance to with anybody and everybody we knew on stage.
The kind of energy and the kind of sound that comes together in this kind of band, I've never experienced anything like it. Every single person in the band adds so much, and I try to think about every personality in the band when I'm deciding what's going to happen in an arrangement. And I think everybody else kind of had that feeling of like, wow, this is really special.
Ben is the kind of person who will take that idea and just push it forwards. It's like, okay, well, let's do it. And then something's happening.
All right.
My main goal is to record the band.
But having a place to work on music can logistically be difficult. And it's transitioned into now what I'm working on. We've been constructing a studio for the past year.
To be able to record a band of that size would never happen. I would never be able to afford and organize that in a studio that I didn't own. And that was one of the main reasons I wanted to build a studio, so that I can record my band.
I don't want it to just be a for-hire studio. I really just want it to be another creative outlet for all the wonderful things going on in Baltimore. We talked about some Love Unit stuff in the interview, but this is some brand new material I've worked out with Eric and Derek, and we're going to start with an original. Working title right now, brand new, is Sunrise.
Look out up there. Just don't stare. All along, it's been there. Get up, get out there. Float like air. All along, it's been there. It's not over yet. There's tomorrow. Just a sunset that we can borrow. Get up, get out there. Float like air. All along, it's been there. No, it's not over yet. There's tomorrow. Just a sunset Sunrise, sunfall, some live to see it all. Sunrise, sunfall, some live to see it all.
Thank you.
If you want to flip around, I'll turn on that room camera, or that room mic, when you're speaking.
Oh.
If you want to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's brand new for us, and we're gonna move on. That was an original, but we're gonna move on, and we're actually gonna play one of Ellen's tunes, and she played it earlier, which I'm kind of into. So this is our version of Sakbe. Or I could have just not said, but surprise. Even the blue water turns black when the sun falls into the past. Even my watery heart makes a fist when the sun dogs call. A ghost has me right by the wrist. Here is a list of all that I need. Mayan road that shines in the heat, sun dusts from an asteroid belt just a hold, and the promise my voice won't grow old. My life, it's a small one, and it's just begun. I've just begun to read all the stories and learn all my lines. Yeah, everything's alright, yes, everything's fine. My life, it's a small one, and I've just begun to read all the stories and learn all my lines. Everything's alright, yes, everything's fine.
but I'm the fool because I think I've got time. Sundogs come, dark water goes red, and the ghost she swims, bad dreams of lead. I thought that I've thought, and I've bought, and I've owned. Is it enough to have learned to let go?
Thank you. What are we doing now? Okay.
I'm crying, that's what I'm doing. Oh, man.
We're still live, right? Yeah, okay. So I wanted to mention, I didn't talk a lot about this, but I spent the past couple years with my brother building a recording studio. It's been a really amazing process, and it's now done. So I've begun to record some music in there, and in addition to working on my own stuff, of course, I'm working with other people, and the first person, the first person I've recorded was my girlfriend, Safina, singing, but the first person I've really been working with at length has been Eric Von Marco, who's playing with us today, and I really hope to co-produce a full-length recording with him in the coming year, and we're going to change things up and feature one of Eric's tunes. Entitled? Entitled.
The song is called Understated Me.
Walking with my child just the other day. Yeah, we've all grown up, some would say. Guess it's just our way. I always seem to be a step behind the times, but you know I didn't mind. I didn't mind. searching just to find someone. Sometimes I find it's just a state of mind, leaves me capsized in the design. Somewhere behind my memory lies all the time. Still I won't pay, ain't gonna pay no mind. So long I've had to drink the bitter wine. So long the broken past is left behind. So long. So I thought I'd speak my mind. Thought I'd speak my mind. I thought I'd speak my mind. This time.
Thank you.
Eric Von Marco. Woo! Understated Me. Okay, we're gonna change things up. I'm gonna play some guitar, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do a sea shanty. This is an old traditional sailor's tune called "All For Me Grog." Give us 1 second while we switch instruments.
Ellen's gonna say something.
I'm going to say something. Hello, everyone. Before we get out of, before Ben and Derek and Eric leave today, I wanted to say thank you to them. I also want to say thank you to Dan Chase, who's running our camera, who's been added to our team, and of course Sean Wilson, who's running the computer and the board. We need one more person. Who wants to join our team? Because we need one more person. The pay is so low, it's non-existent. But it's high fun. Anyway, so thanks for listening in. Next month on November 24th at 2 p.m. we will have Mike Barish, who is an incredible songwriter in Baltimore. I'm really looking forward to digging into his material, so please join us on Sunday, November 24th. The next season is being booked right now, and we have a bassoonist coming in, a female songwriter named Root, so bassoon Brian Young, Root's coming in March, Chris Jacobs coming in February, and just stay tuned to ellencherry.tv. So I want to thank Ben Frock and Derek Michaels and Eric Von Marco for playing today, but please enjoy this last song, and thank you for listening.
Yeah. And thanks for Alan for putting this together. This is very nice.
Thank you.
All for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco. For I spent all me tin on the lasses drinking gin. And across the western ocean I must wander. And where is me boots, me noggin, noggin boots? They're all gone for beer and tobacco. For the leathers are all worn out and the heels are knocked about. And the toes are looking out for better weather. noggin, noggin wench, all gone for beer and tobacco. For her lips is all wore out, and her front is knocked about, but her tail is looking out for better weather.
Me bed, me noggin, noggin bed, all gone for beer and tobacco. For the mattress is all tore, for I lent it to a whore, and the springs are looking out for better weather. All for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog, all gone me beer and tobacco. For I spent all me tin on the lassies drinking gin, and across the western ocean I must wander. I'm sick in the head, I haven't been to bed since first I came ashore with my plunder. I've seen centipedes and snakes, and I'm full of pains and aches, and I think I'll take a trip out over yonder.
Where is me grog? Me
Jolly, jolly grog, all gone for beer and tobacco. For I spent all me tin on the lassies drinking gin, and across the western ocean I must walk.